Networks from the Bay and beyond. Oh, I forgot to cue him. Oh, no, you did great anyways. So we get to explore all sorts of really cool information and topics around like artificial intelligence. And tonight we're exploring cybersecurity and quantum computing. And as quantum computing goes from being less of a theoretical and more of a practical, that space between the physical world and the digital world is rapidly disappearing. So we're going to explore a little bit about that with Rebecca Krauthamer, the CEO of QuSecure. Woo! And Harsh, who's our friend at Palo Alto Networks, and I think that's about all we're able to say about Palo Alto Networks. So without any further ado, perhaps we can do some quick introductions. Rebecca, please.
Hey everyone, I'm Rebecca. I'm CEO at QuSecure. Quick intro, I studied symbolic systems, or kind of like how do you build a thinking thing down the road at Stanford, worked in AI, then got into quantum computing, and now I run the company that is the world leader in bringing quantum safe technologies to retrofit networks to make them secure against quantum computing attacks.
Rebecca, how much did you just raise?
We just raised $30 million.
What about you, Harsh? How much have you raised?
I'm raising myself.
Okay, he's raising himself. Yeah, but please give us an introduction, Harsh.
Okay, hello everyone. I'm Harsh. Thank you, Rick, for inviting me. I currently work at Palo Alto Networks as a...
Keep going.
I have over 10 plus years of experience building technology, softwares, and data science. Currently work at the intersection of AI and machine learning. And, I would say just building AI to fight AI, and looking forward to answer any of the questions in the technical sides.
All right, well, let's just start with the low-hanging fruit here. You guys are in the world of cybersecurity, AI. We always hear about China. We always hear about Russia. We always hear about Iran. Pointing to my Persian comrades here.
Be nice, Sam.
Let's talk about how much of a threat these guys are. Are they the most urgent threat? What's the most the most urgent threats of cybersecurity? And be honest. Don't like sugarcoat. We can take it.
Yeah, I would just say I think AI has both the sides, positive also and negative also. So negative sides, it's like whatever threats and issues that used to happen, like all this hacking and all, what a person used to do in three days, now AI can do it in just 1 hour or 2 hours. So the threat is real. They can decipher everything, and the data is not secure. So it's a real problem that is coming into every company now.
Where? From where? Where are they coming from? We know AI is good and bad, bro. Come on.
It's very diplomatic.
Well, I mean, I live in my world of the quantum computing threat, which is, sounds to most people like it's kind of esoteric, but it's really not. There is billions and billions of dollars going into investing in quantum computing advancement in the U.S., in China, and in other parts of the world, but it's very much being called sort of this, not Cold War, but there is very much this like international nation-state dynamic here at play, because whoever gets the cryptographically relevant quantum computer, or a quantum computer that can break today's encryption for all data as it travels over networks, that is a hugely, hugely powerful, not just for good, but also powerful weapon.
Well, just to add on that, so like right now, the algorithms that we are used mostly for securing is RSA-based, SL-based. And as the quantum computing coming into picture, it can really empower to just break them, decipher them. So we need more advanced algorithms which can secure the data. And
you said RSA. Let's maybe define a couple of these things. So cybersecurity is...
Cybersecurity is the science of security.
The science of security. Thank you so much. Wow.
The data.
Sure, you work at Palo Alto Networks. Okay. Okay, fine. Then quantum computing. Maybe if you, Rebecca, if you could help us understand the difference between classical computing, which uses bits, and quantum computing, which is qubits.
So no matter how powerful AI gets on classical computers, or like the thing that powers this iPhone or that laptop, no matter how powerful AI gets, it will never be able to reverse engineer the codes that keep our data safe when you send a text message, when you send an email, when you send anything digitally. But quantum computers, they don't just brute force things. They think totally differently, like at the most fundamental level. So they can solve different types of problems. And so those computers, quantum computers, we've known for a long time that at scale, they use different kinds of cleverness to slash through those codes. And I just to talk really quickly, this is the example I always use to talk about how a quantum computer thinks differently. So if you're a person, imagine you're trying to solve a maze. You enter into a maze. You hit your first T. You have to choose right or left. Go right. You hit another T. Right or left, left. And then so on and so forth. You iterate through this maze and hopefully you find your way out. Quantum computer. You enter into a maze, you're a quantum computer. You hit your first T. You don't have to choose. Right and left at the same time. And again, and again, and again, and again. And so it's almost like those Marvel movies where you go into multiple universes where different things happen, you know? But what a quantum computer can do that a regular computer can't is look at all those possibilities at once, and then with a quantum algorithm, find the most optimal path through that maze. So that's how a quantum computer thinks differently, and we use that logic to break through secure codes.
Let's go back to China, Russia, and Iran. Because
Keeping it spicy.
yeah, can you give us an actual scenario of like what a little bird whispered in your ear about something that China has been trying to do, or Russia or Iran, to some of our systems, so that we can really understand the threat? Because what you guys said earlier was very politically correct, but we really want to feel it. Like, what is the threat? What are they going after right now that you've heard of? Go ahead.
Well, I'll speak again. I'm speaking from my world, but we know the people who do this for the U.S. government, and we know very well that there are people who are doing this for the Chinese government. But when data travels over networks, travels over Palo Alto Networks sort of stuff, it can be my brother's one of those little kids that would try to hack the Pentagon. And so, one of his favorite pastimes is sitting in like Starbucks or the airport and being on unsecured Wi-Fi and intercepting packets of information that are like of other people what they're browsing. Like, oh, look at this guy's looking at porn. Oh, look at this guy's, here's his Amazon password. And that's exactly what's happening at a national government organized program level, but with all of our transactions, everything that's happening. The CTO of the CIA said within 10 years, everybody's going to have their own WikiLeaks moment. Your text messages, your emails, if they're not quantum secure. So that's China stockpiling data for decryption with a cryptographically relevant quantum computer while that data is still valuable. Everyone else is doing the same thing.
You want to add to that?
Also, like I've seen a lot of companies and all, they're stealing the data or they're withholding the data, which can come when the quantum computing will come later in 5 years. Then you know that you don't want that those files will not be there in the network. So you're withholding it right now, and when the later computer gets there, you just decrypt that and get all those information. So a lot of these things are also happening because of counter computing encryption.
Got it.
I was just going to say, so you gave an example of a man-in-the-middle attack, I think they call it. That's on an unsecured local area network. How can companies be proactive and thoughtful? I mean, we got a lot of founders in the audience here. We got a lot of folks that are in enterprise and SMB space as well. So what are some practical ways that we should be thinking about protecting our data, protecting our customers, protecting our network?
Use VPN.
Use VPN. That's it?
You use a post-quantum encrypted VPN.
Yeah.
Does that even exist?
It does.
Okay.
It does.
Can you double-click that for us? What does it look like? Because there's only, a handful of quantum computers that actually exist in reality.
Uh-oh.
So this is one of the coolest things. You don't need a quantum computer to fight a quantum computer.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the algorithms. So you need to use the QTC algorithms, which are based on like quantum computing cryptography. So those are more advanced, and they have the scenario, or they're more adaptable if you want to change the crypto algorithm also in the real time, more dynamic rather than just coding the system with the static algorithms. Right now, it is more agile that you can dynamically change that, rotate them so that hacking doesn't happen pretty frequently.
So you can run an algorithm on one of these classical. Oh, yeah. Did you want to share something?
This is my post-quantum secure VPN.
What's the name?
This is NordVPN.
Nord.
But if you want an enterprise level VPN, you can talk to one of us.
All right. Well, since we're talking about this, let's just say we're talking about our medical data. All right, and we're with Blue Cross or Anthem Blue Shield or any of those companies. How can these companies prove that they're secure? Like, what can a company do to show you that they're unhackable?
So it is a saying in software side or system side that nothing is unhackable, or no system is 100% secure. So anything that you do, it's just like you have to have countermeasures at each layers.
Yeah.
Right from the start of the network when you're sending the messages to each layers of data layer, network layer, when you're trying to retrieve the data. So all those layers need some encryption, thresholding, safeguarding to give it to the user before that.
All right, let's talk about ethics, because I know this is a problem that every computer company sort of faces. How do you guys, in the world of digital warfare, play by some sort of ethical rules? And what are the ethical questions that you guys are faced with? And give us some real-world examples.
One of the example I remember in this, it can be in the finance industry. Let's say you build an AI system which gives you a loan, and which calculates with the algorithms a credit score for you, or and decide whether you should get a loan or something. So when that is applied in different state, different demographics, using the past credit history and everything, it just gives you a score saying that, okay, you are eligible for a X number of amount for the loan, but it doesn't ethically tells you like who needs it the most. So let's say 2% are there, one needs the loan more than the other person. The just algorithm will say that, okay, this guy cannot get it. So it's an ethical question. Who needs more? You can say that the other guy needs more, but AI is saying no, the first person is more eligible to get it and to be repaid. So yeah, it's one of the questions like that.
So it's kind of like a game of cat and mouse. It almost feels like cybersecurity is a safe industry to be in because, like you said, as long as there's cops, there's going to be robbers. Oh, wait, right, reverse that.
Yeah.
But that's good news, especially for talented individuals who are building the architecture for artificial intelligence and cybersecurity like yourself. In fact, you just got a new promotion. Can you tell us what that is?
Yeah, I mean, it's been like, I think it's the work that you're doing, they're building AI to fight AI. I just said to Nick, you need the safeguard and the systems which can also monitor the detection side, provide the remediation at the right time when these issues are coming up. And those systems are highly reliable, needs to be highly reliable. So we are working towards it, building it more scalable in a more prominent or precision way.
For the people in this room who have no idea what Palo Alto is, can you explain your company, how many employees, and what exactly you guys do?
Yeah, we are Palo Alto Networks is a cybersecurity company, and I think we have more than 10,000 employees right now. It's a global company, so working towards in different remediation, detection, solution of certain issues.
And Rebecca, help us understand your company. How many employees do you have? What are you looking for? Like, give us sort of an overview of who you guys are and what you're doing right now.
So we're talking about the quantum threat. We solve it. It's a big scary thing, but it's actually quite simple to solve. Well, if you're us. We do it simply for you, for the end customer. So what we do is we just overlay networks and make them secure against quantum computing attacks. So if that data is harvested for later decryption, they can't decrypt it. it will remain encrypted nonsense data to anybody who's not supposed to know what it is. So if it's healthcare, if it's your insurance, if your electronic health records, if it's national security, we do a lot of national security stuff. We do a lot of stuff with telecommunications companies. So we're in the business of keeping data that's supposed to be secret forever, or for a very long time. So we've been around since 2020. We're Series A. We raised in total 35 million, and we're just about 25 people strong.
That's it?
Yeah, we're small and mighty. We partner. If anyone's a partner out there.
Yeah, let's talk about that real quick. So obviously you guys are sort of in the same field. Tell us about like how you guys partner with other industries that are very similar to you, what that looks like. Maybe you can give us an example of a company you partner with, and how that synergy works.
Accenture's like 800,000 people. So we build the software, they go and deploy it. They're one of our investors. We partner with Cisco. Sorry, Palo Alto competitor. Although Forrester just released a report, and we were the only 2 people in it.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Those kinds of big, how to distribute the quantum safe technologies via deploying or via embedding in the technology itself. Like we embed in VPNs, we embed in like Dell servers, those kinds of things.
And when you say embedded, that means like natively, or can you kind of unpack that for us?
Yeah, you know how like there used to be the stickers Intel Inside on laptops, like we're the QSecure Inside for securing stuff wherever data goes.
And what about this? Everybody's talking about agents these days, and it seems like artificial intelligence is going from tools to teammates. How does AI agents play into your infrastructure? And I'm curious to see what both of you have to say about this.
Yeah. So when you ask about ethics, what we do is we use AI to make our security protections dynamic. And so it's always this cat and mouse game or cops and robbers game. So what security actually means is, you're building AI to fight AI. Same. So we use AI to rotate out algorithms, to rotate out keys, to do these different cool things so that you're never just caught flat-footed when some more and more sophisticated adversary comes along. So that's how we use AI. So now I'm starting to think about what's the next step when it comes to ethics and cybersecurity, but that's a different.
Okay, so one of the example I can give is like, the analyzing the network. A human can't just go and look how the traffic is flowing, packets going through, all those things. So we use AI to analyze those patterns in the network, analyze the traffic that is flowing towards it, see if there is some potential patterns being formed for the malware detections, and those are the potential issues. So that's where one of the example of how AI is used to predict the potential issues. The second part is the remediation part, where once you have detected something unusual, then we want AI only to resolve it, to take some actionable actions to do and remediate those issues. So that's where the AI can help. Before the human goes, try to find out, people raise tickets saying that this is the issue that they're seeing in the system. The AI can go itself, detect what the anomaly was, what was the issue, what are the actions they can perform, and help it resolve it.
All right, I have 2 more questions, and we're going to open up to the audience. Rebecca, I want to ask you about this $30 million you raised. When you were going out, were there specific VCs you wanted the money from, or were you just like, we got to hit 30 million, anyone who wants to give it can give it? Tell us that process of raising that money, because there's a lot of founders here. We can sit here and talk about, China, Iran, Russia all day, but this is like at the heart of, startups.
Yeah. Oh man, how many people are or have been raising? Okay, yeah. For a while, I was it wasn't super fun. And then I realized, like, there's kind of money everywhere. And when I started kind of looking for the right partner and turning it around and saying, hey, this is what I'm looking for. Like, how do you work with your portfolio companies? How do you enable your portfolio companies to do X, Y, Z? Then it became a little bit more fun. And so when the investors that we brought on board, they're incredible. They are so deeply invested in making us successful rather than just kind of being oversight. Those are the kinds of investors that I love, the ones that become really good partners.
Well, I'm wondering, did you say no to certain people that wanted to give you money?
Yes.
And what's the largest amount you turned down?
Oh gosh, we turned down a $10 million check.
Why'd you turn that down?
Because the vibes. They wanted terms that were non-standard in the first place, that were a little sort of more like, we want cumulative dividends, and so the terms themselves were not great, but it was the people behind it just didn't act like they were going to be true partners, and so we said no.
And how long did it take you to decide on that no?
It was pretty fast.
Oh,
for me.
wow.
Yeah. Not all my co-founders agreed immediately, so I beat them down, but but it was pretty fast, yeah.
Okay. All right. Here's my final question, and really, let this wash over you. Think about it. Give me a really good answer. If Donald Trump calls you up and says, what's the one key national cybersecurity or quantum research thing we should be doing, what would you say to President Trump?
Like building more advanced systems, investing on those latest cryptographic advanced techniques, so that it's a transition that everyone has to do. It's like now the current system, they are resilient towards the existing systems, right? Existing algorithms that being used. But later, when the more quantum computing will come, you need more advanced algorithm, advanced system.
How much should he spend?
I don't know, 500 billion?
500 billion.
That's the
All right, Rebecca, what would you say to President Trump?
Just move up the timelines for post-quantum or quantum-safe encryption. It's here. It's real. It's dumb not to do it at this point.
Since we're on that point, how is policy impacting some of these decisions and the innovation that's happening in the space?
It's speeding up this year. So last year, the standards kicked in for quantum safe encryption. And so this year now, the timelines for migration at the government level have all kicked off, and now everyone's following the US. The UK just updated their timelines, Australia, South Korea. And so it's getting more and more aggressive, but they're leaving it basically up to 2030 or beyond for the migration to happen, and it doesn't need to be that long.
Yeah, because Satya said within 2 to 3 years, we're going to see like the ChatGPT moment, like this Cambrian moment where it becomes like an aha or a light bulb where it just starts basically being everywhere, right?
100%. Yeah. It's playing with fire to wait on the preparation for it, because it's not gonna, we're not gonna see it coming. It's gonna happen all of a sudden.
I just wanted to add one thing, because you took the term agentic AI and how it is being used. So I just wanted to tell, earlier the sophisticated system was rule based. You have some issues coming up. There was a human in the loop which is taking some action based on the rules and trying to remediate it. But now with the agentic AI, it's like a agent can itself plan its execution, plan what all data it needs, where it has to go, what remediation steps it has to take to solve that particular issue. So this is how it is. AI is helping, to remediate way more easy than what the traditional systems were doing.
All right, we're going to open it up to the audience. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Maria. So normally it's people doing stupid things that all the breaches happen with. How is this still going to play into quantum security? And then are we racing to another millennial? Remember end 99? Everyone had to change.
They some people call it Y2Q or Y2 quantum, which is for exactly that reason. It's not a great analogy because we don't know when it's coming. It could happen at any time. And to add on to it, we're not likely to know. If you remember back to World War II, when the group led by Alan Turing figured out how to crack the German code, they didn't tell anybody for as long as they could, because they held all the cards at the time. So whoever, whether it's China, whether it's US, whoever comes up with that cryptographically relevant quantum computer, they're not going to tell us. It's not going to be headline news. So Y2Q will happen in secret. I don't know if that answers your question, but...
No, that was good.
Hi, I'm Tanya Long. I'm with Quantum Crow Advisory. I'm really happy to see you guys here tonight. And it was my birthday, so that's why I'm holding. Happy birthday. Thank you, thank you. So we had a small event. It was actually just a few months ago. It feels like it's been forever. That event was called DeepSeek. You remember? And of course you remember. And I think NVIDIA lost like almost 600 billion in market cap overnight. So Harsh, your 500 billion is a little on the low side. So they lost almost 600 billion in market cap. Of course, a lot of it came back. My question for you is this. There was a lot of confusion when DeepSeek occurred because there was mixed information in the market that that information didn't go to China. For the unknowing, the API was safe, but that app that everyone was downloading that stayed at the top of the App Store list, for that, the T's and C's of that clearly stated that the information passed through China. My question for you is, can you help this audience understand how mics vary in range? Can you help this audience understand how to hear the difference for our next DeepSeek so they can protect themselves? Because a lot of people thought they were downloading a safe application and they weren't. So what are the things for them to look for in the words that the press uses so that they know what to do? And Human, this is for you. And why is it important that China not receive our data?
No. I mean, certainly data privacy is important, and everybody has the right to own their data. So that's why it's not. I would say it's the government's issue. Whether every country should own their data, they should have their own model, own rules and regulations are there, or there should be a global where anybody can use anything and all. So it's dependent on the governance and the country itself. Specific Europe have a different rules, and US is a different. So similarly, I feel when you're downloading something on the net or trying to use it, it's better to read everything, how the data is going, how it is being processed, and then to make sure that anything that you're using is safe.
If you, also a good thing to look for in apps is end-to-end encryption, because that means not even the company who makes the app can see your unencrypted data. It's a good rule of thumb. Yeah.
Hi, Rebecca. My name is Chris Novak. If you could simplify this down, I like your reference to the German Enigma machine, where they use different, I think, keys that they put in that would change its entire operation. You probably know very well Hedy Lamarr, right? And so if you could bring this back to like frequency hopping, and that was a way to foil the torpedoes in that you jump from different radio frequencies and nobody knew to which frequency are you switching to. To your extent, when you're switching different algorithms or keys, nobody knows which one you're going to. And they can try all of them, and the qubits might not be able to keep up because it's more than just two options. So what are your thoughts on that? Thank you.
Yeah, no, I think you're spot on. I don't know that I have much more to add to that. That's great. And there now, in the past, we had one single type of math that underlay all the encryption. Now we have multiple different ones. So if the math is broken on one algorithm, you do that kind of frequency hopping, but with algorithms. It's very cool. Good call.
Yes.
Hi, I just, Gigi Kaborsi, financial industry. Rebecca, I just want to say hats off to saying no to a $10 million check, because in the world of AI and all that's going on, we just can't lose the human touch. So I just want to say kudos, and it probably opened up more opportunities than.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, that was just a compliment.
Oh man, thank you.
That's what I was saying. If there would be an AI, it would have said to take that.
Yeah.
We got the next question. We got the next question back here.
Thank you. The cryptocurrency world is $3.4 trillion, and the blockchain uses static encryption. When are we going to post-quantum dynamic encryption and decryption? Because we're going to lose money like hell.
Well, can you explain what he just asked?
It is a great question. So, when I said we're one type of math, so we figured out one math problem to help us transmit data over between points. it's that one type of math that gets broken by a powerful quantum computer. It's the same type of math that keeps the blockchain secure. So yes, the blockchain and those transactions are, in fact, quantum vulnerable. And so we're involved in a couple projects to like retrofit or update certain blockchains. We also work with like exchanges and wallet companies, but it is something that needs to happen very, very quickly.
Next question's over there.
Hi, I'm Stephen Pease. I'm a software engineer. There's a new type of encryption I've been hearing about occasionally, fully homomorphic encryption that sort of provides like the end-to-end security when your backend developer needs to work with the data. Is that quantum secure, or how does that interact with the quantum space right now? Thank you.
Can you also describe that?
Homomorphic encryption. So it's this idea of encryption where you can operate like as a data scientist or something on encrypted data without having to unzip it, unencrypt it. And it's a super, super cool idea. There are certain like emerging schools of thought around post-quantum homomorphic encryption, but not yet standard. But I'm hoping it's something that's coming up very, very quickly.
Yeah, I also heard there's one quantum distribution of keys. So it's like you don't stick on one algorithm. You have the multiple one and you use the hybrid one. That's one of the ways to be more secure on that.
The next question's over there.
My name is Spencer Brown. I'm an entrepreneur. My company is called Capmine Computing. Congratulations on the Series A. So I was kind of curious, Series B or C, et cetera. So what's next? And maybe a second question would be, computing, sensing, networking. So the U.S. leads in 2 of the 3 main quantum areas, which is computing, sensing, but China leads in networking. So I was curious if you guys have any insight on maybe efforts for the U.S. to catch up on networking. So those are my questions. Thank you.
Thank you. By the way, this guy has a very cool quantum computing company. If you're an early stage investor,
What's this company called?
What is your company called?
Capmine Computing.
Capmine Computing.
Is he one of your customers?
Not yet.
Oh.
Not yet.
What's next? Series B, most likely, unless things are going really, really fast this year. So it would be great to just become wildly profitable, and then we wouldn't have to worry about it. But right now I'm just building relationships early on with growth stage investors. But so you're getting into the wacky world of quantum broadly. There's quantum computing, quantum sensing, quantum networking, 3 different things. And quantum networking is this cool thing where you can actually use like the craziness of entangled particles to share keys and information across distances. And yes, China is ahead in that world. The NSA actually came out against it. They said don't use quantum networking because they think.
What exactly is quantum network? What kind of networking do we have now? What's quantum network?
Actually, you guys are. What kind of networking do you? Yeah. Woof.
I mean, networking at the end of this, so.
You guys, are you doing any QKD stuff?
Not yet.
You're not doing any QKD stuff. Okay.
Is there a simple way of explaining quantum networking?
So you explain networking really fast because that's what these guys do.
When you're in a network, the networking is like different ways: single pair, double pair, multi-network. So when you're trying to communicate from one point to another point, you need a network. So that's called in all that particular channel is the networking of that.
And what's quantum networking?
Quantum is like I think Rebecca, you have worked on more of that. You will.
Has anyone had a LAN party or like? Huh? Yeah.
What's a LAN party? We don't know anything.
I thought this was a room of fellow geeks. I guess not. So network. It's just routers. Sending data across networks. The internet is a network. Yeah. And so quantum networking is It's very sci-fi, very Star Trek. Like, you ever heard of the idea that you can have a particle on one side of the universe and one on the other, and you do something to this particle and instantly this other one responds?
Yeah.
It's using those properties to communicate information over distances in a way that you can't do that in the middle, looking in and trying to grab that information, like my brother in the airport.
Wow.
Yeah, it's super cool.
And so the NSA said no to that.
NSA said don't do it.
Why?
Yeah.
Because they won't be able to our information. That guy just asked the best question. That's something we all understood. Amazing. Before we get to the next question, which is in the back there, we have an anonymous question. And the anonymous question is, when you said no to the $10 million, did you already have other deals on the table?
No.
Oh. So you had no safety net when you said no?
No, we didn't.
Unbelievable.
No.
JT. Do you guys cash positive yet?
Cash positive. We're not.
You out of the red?
We're not out of the red, but we're pretty close.
Oh. All right, sir.
What's it like to not only be the smartest woman in the room, but the smartest person in the room? What's that?
Stop.
Come on.
You should tell it to my third grade teacher. I almost flunked out.
All right, sir, go ahead.
Well, to bother you more, this question also goes out to you. Can you explain what a quantum VPN does differently than a regular VPN, and how does it, I guess, stop the maze exploration, if I got that right?
Do you have an answer for that or no?
We are working more on that, I think.
All right.
So what a VPN does is it kind of wraps up you're sending info from one place to another. I'm browsing the internet, getting info back and forth. The VPN sort of wraps your communication in, let's say, extra security. So what the post-quantum one does is, instead of using regular encryption that we know is vulnerable to being scooped up by a quantum computer, a post-quantum encrypted VPN, it's the same thing. It just uses algorithms that encrypt that data in a way that we know quantum computers will not be able to break with the known algorithms.
Next question's right there.
Two questions. First, how does a non-quantum computer stop a quantum computer or attack? And then two is, how fast is quantum computing moving in terms of, or relative to like AI and things like that? I know you said it was in the background, which I think is pretty interesting to think about, but also like, what do you think is out there that's happening?
Anyone? Go ahead.
Go ahead. All quantum's on you. You are the expert, quantum expert.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm taking the mic, but okay. So the first question is, second question was, what's like the speed of advancement of quantum computing? The first question was,
how does a non-quantum computer?
How does a non-quantum computer fight against a quantum computer? So I always explain it like the job of computer scientists is to, let's say that we have this whole board is the world of solvable problems. The world of solvable problems by regular computers is a bubble, like a circle within that. And the original like math problem that we use for encryption was outside of that bubble of solvability for classical computers. Enter quantum computers. Mathematically, we know that bubble of solvability for quantum computers, there's some Venn diagram, but that encryption problem falls inside of the realm of solvability for quantum computers. So what we have to do now is, just like we did with regular encryption, we figured out a problem that was not solvable mathematically speaking it wasn't in that bubble of solvability by regular computers. Now we had to come up with a math problem or multiple math problems that fall outside of both bubbles as far away as possible, mathematically speaking. So you just very smart mathematicians just figured out how to write a problem where the problem going forward, you feed it variables or whatever, but you can't reverse engineer it. It's not reverse engineerable mathematically by regular computers or quantum computers.
Next question, sir.
I wanted to jump back to your NSA point because I had never heard that before with quantum networking. And I was wondering who that instruction was directed towards, civilian systems or more government systems? And is it due to a lack of understanding of how secure quantum or entangled particles are or quantum networking is? Or is it because it's too secure?
Can I ask you a question on top of that, which will help you with that? If you guys did do the quantum networking, who would shut you down in the government? Would the government shut you down to do this? Because this is really at the heart of what this gentleman is asking. Like, are there any quantum networking companies in America and like, do you understand? Like, can you help us unpack this a little bit? Because clearly they want to look at our data, and with that they can't look at our data.
Yeah. So I think there are a couple quantum networking companies in the U.S., but I think they've like kind of started to fizzle out a little bit. And you see, like, there's these. You said China's ahead because they've done these demonstrations of like quantum communications from satellites to Earth and over these long distances and building these really what they call uncrackable sort of network communications. I think NSA's official stance is that it's very hard to set up in a perfect way because it's theoretically unhackable, but if you set it up a little funny, you might get it wrong. So I think that's the official stance, the official written reasoning. I remember right down the road in an unmarked building is Incutel. It's the investment arm of, well, it's basically like the three-letter agency's investment arm. And we sat down with them in 2020, and they were specifically looking for quantum networking companies at that time. I don't really know many companies around that are still in the U.S. that are these quantum networking companies, but
They're the only ones allowed to be on the cap table, right? Like they're not able to be with other co-VCs or co-investors, I think. Incutel?
I actually don't know. We never got investment from Incutel. Yeah.
The reason I ask is it's kind of interesting. Like, you can use technology to fight against these cybersecurity attacks, but you can also use human elements as well. So, for example, in the NSA, they were thinking that there was folks from North Korea that were potentially spies. So what they would do is they would ask, how fat is Kim Jong-il or Kim Jong-un? And they would immediately hang up because they couldn't risk that being called out by that. So.
Oh, that's super interesting.
We have a question over there somewhere. There he is.
So yeah, Rebecca, when you turned down the $10 million, correct? I'm just curious because, it's a process, and I've noticed that through my experiences as well. You said you got way better opportunities after that, and what was the main reason why you turned down the $10 million? If you don't mind me asking, was it the lack of integrity, or did you just didn't necessarily connect with the people that were investors, or?
Well, she mentioned something about the terms she didn't like, and I'm curious about what were those terms. That's a good question.
Those terms. So the terms, the main thing that they were asking for in the terms was cumulative dividends. Yeah, which was basically like they wanted every year that we didn't exit, they wanted some additional like interest on their investment, basically. So it was trying to accelerate the our path to exit, which was not really beneficial for the longevity of the company.
Did you tell him that's a deal breaker and you need to take that out? And he said, no, I'm not going to take that out. And then you said, all right, see you later. Is that what happened?
When I told them that, they not only did they say no, but they got really kind of strangely defensive and not cool about it. And it was not a conversation.
Bullet dodged.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right, we have time for one more question. All right, we have time for two more questions.
So, what are the quantum people doing about neurostrike technology coming out of CCP? It's apparently some nano biochemical weapon that can get into our bodies.
Not heard about it.
No comment?
He has a top secret clearance, and he probably knows about it, but he can't say anything. I don't think they know the answer to that one.
Neurostrike?
Yeah, that's what it's
Neurostrike.
It's called NeuroStrike Technologies that are becoming well known now.
Do you know what that is? He doesn't know either. Anybody know what that is? All right, nobody knows. All right.
Hi, I'm Leslie Lang, and I'm a Silicon Zombies enthusiast. You're awesome. You're okay, but you're incredibly awesome. My question is it too late? I get a data breach like every week. I bought tickets. Now they have a data breach. I got my credit card data breach. I got my Temu data breach. They know my Pornhub search categories. Is it too late?
Weirdly, I would trust Pornhub more than most somehow. No. It's not too late. I think a lot of a lot of things have already been breached. A lot of things have already been harvested for later decryption. But it is not too late. No, it's time to act, and there are a lot of things that we can still do. But it is time. It's time to go.
So as we wrap, did you want to add to that?
Yeah, I just wanted to add, I think it's the continuation learning process for users also and for the companies also. So to safeguard yourself, to know what are the regulation coming up. And as they say, that internet knows more than your parents. So, yeah, I think they use their data to fine tune, to personalize things. So it's better to know when to use what safeguards.
Well, this has been fascinating. We obviously want to be helpful to you as well as the folks that are tuning in from home and across the world. So maybe tell the zombie community how we can be helpful to what you're both building. You want to plug a website, or how can we be helpful to you both? Rebecca, are you hiring?
We are hiring. Yeah. Deployment, sales engineering, marketing, lots of go-to-market stuff. So if anybody knows really excellent people, that would be awesome.
Maybe they're in this room. Is website? Do you want to share a website with us here?
Website, QuSecure.com, QU.
And just so you know, they're going to hang out for about an hour so you can talk to them.
And for me, I think I do startup mentoring, and also if you're looking to get to know how to build the scalable solutions using AI in cybersecurity and other fields. So happy to interact and help on that. And yeah, connect with me on LinkedIn.
And so you guys will sometimes mentor people in this space. Did I just volunteer you for a job you don't want?
Always.
All right. All right. Great place out here. All right, thank you everybody for a wonderful episode of Silicon Zombies. Check us out at siliconzombies.com. Like and subscribe and all that other goofy stuff. Thank you so much. Big round of applause for these guys. Well done. Yeah, that was excellent. Nailed it. Thank you guys.